see if that works. Can anyone see if we have audio at the moment? There we go. Ketroc, say something, if that's all right.
Hello, hello.
Ah,
Welcome, everyone.
yes, there we go. Apologies,
Okay.
guys. Slight technical problems. Seem to have everyone back now, which is good. Welcome to the Sc2AI tournament. We're at the quarterfinal stage. I'm joined once again by Ketroc. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, good to be here.
And also thank you very much for Yatahunt last week standing in for me. Done a fantastic job, and I'm surprised that any of you even want me back. So yeah, good to be back anyway. But Yatahunt, if you are wanting to come on, you are more than welcome anytime. So that's good. But yeah, we had some fantastic games last week. We had Micro Machine and Eris going on. Eris getting the better once again. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I have this like weird block in my head. I can't actually remember games from the week before anymore.
oh, no, sorry, it
Not
was
sure
Eris
why.
and Dominion Dog, wasn't it? Sorry.
Okay, that makes more sense. I
Sorry,
was like, wait a minute.
yes. It,
Micro
it
Machine's
was
out already?
no, it was Eris and Micro Machine will be playing next week in the semi-finals. So apologies for that. It was Eris and Dominion Dog in the first game, and then Micro Machine beat Bot in the other quarterfinal. I was actually like, I was watching that back, and like I was convinced that Micro Machine was going out before came back and took the reverse sweep there. So that was good.
Yeah, that was a good build Fembot had. It was very simple, but for some reason it just worked really well versus Micro Machine.
Yeah,
At least versus two of Micro Machine's build. Once he found that Marauder rush, it kind of turned the whole series around for him.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then Eris just doing what Eris always does, makes great bots look pathetic by crushing them. So poor Dominion Dog was the one to suffer this week. Or
yeah.
last week, I mean. Yep.
Oh well. But yeah, Dominion Dog again done really well this tournament. Quite an old bot, but still good. And we have some more fantastic quarterfinals coming up for you this week as well. Let's take a quick look at what they are, shall we? Actually, let's take a quick look at our bracket first. So yeah, you see Dominion Dog, Eris, Dominion Dog. So Eris will face Micro Machine next week in the semi-finals. And again, Ketroc, Vitir, and Sharkbot Kaninana coming up this week.
Yeah, looking forward to that Eris Micro Machine rematch. That was a good series they had in the group stage.
Yeah, and 3-1, 2-1 win there from Eris. And Micro Machine can take games off of Eris. And obviously we've seen that in the past. And, you know, you never know what's going to happen in the semi-finals. So, but this week coming up, it is Ketroc, your bot, seed fourth, Elo 2141. 2-0 wins versus Smooth Rain and Karinana, followed by the defeat in the last group game against Sharkbot in what is probably the most epic series, at least 3-game series I think we've ever had. So
Yeah.
but
Especially game one going down to a like a quasi draw.
I
Made it
don't
very
know.
interesting.
I don't know what would have
I checked the
happened.
replay afterwards. I think there was enough resources for my bot to make a comeback if the 1 hour limit wasn't there.
It would have been
But I still
close.
think that would cause Sharkbot to switch up his strategy and probably win the next two games anyways. But
Yeah.
yeah, made for a good series anyways. Nice 2-1.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a very fun series. And you are up against, let's have a look, another
Here.
Terran bot in tier. See the 10th, but I think that's quite a low seeding compared to where he is, because tier has a very sharp reputation of always showing up to tournaments. So even though
Yeah.
he's ranked quite lowly, I say low, I mean we have what 60 bots on the ladder, so 10th is not low by any stretch of the imagination. He does show up to tournaments and saves his best field for the tournaments.
Yep.
So
I'm definitely scared. I look at the ladder and I see my bot wins basically every single game versus tier.
yeah.
But we had a mix up in the bracket stage where we had tier against Kenyunana, and you were like, should we fix this or just leave it as it is? And tier is like, no, definitely fix this. So I'm like, okay, why does he want to go into my side of the bracket? What does he have planned? I'm scared.
And you were like, I don't care either way. I will take anyone. So I respect that actually. I think that's very brave decision of you.
Yeah.
So
Well, it
yeah,
affected me the least, I think. It was
yeah,
more yeah. But
yeah.
yeah.
Should be a fun,
All
fun
three of my
game.
series coming up I'm very scared about. Obviously, Sharkbot and Eris I think would be favorites against me in
Yeah,
Micro Machine, so
yeah. You've
and
already
then
taken one loss versus Sharkbot, and Eris is Eris.
yeah, Eris is Eris. That
I
is
mean,
true.
and that's assuming that the bracket goes the way everyone expects it to go, which is not guaranteed. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's
I
take a
think
look at.
yeah, the
Oh,
thing about Eris being Eris is that everyone's got him in their crosshairs.
yeah,
Everyone needs to have that one snipe build versus Eris, so
yeah,
or people aren't worried about, say a Sharkbot as much per se. Like they're worried about him, but they're not like specifically making a build to kill Sharkbot. Or
yeah.
people are making a build to kill Eris.
I mean, people that make builds against Sharkbot make them more defensively against Sharkbot, whereas Eris you have to really go on the offensive with, I think, because
Yeah.
Sharkbot you have to defend and kind of like defend the worker rush to get into the place where you can really play the game. So
I think there's an argument to be made that Sharkbot is the most what's the way to put it? He can do the most things of any bot.
yeah,
He uses every single unit Protoss has. He can do everything from worker cannon rushes all the way to like late game Tempest with forward shield battery banks and stuff. It's like he's got
yeah,
many cheeses and then he's got a really solid like late game as well. So
yeah. No,
he's
it's
a tough one to plan for.
brilliant. Anyway, shall we get started with this series?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Good to go when you are.
All
Uh,
set.
cool. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, down in the bottom of Waterfall, looking to take a place in the semi-final, it is Ketroc.
And in the top right, spawning as Terran for this tournament. Although Ketroc has, or sorry, though Tier has able to play all races. It is the Blue Terran Tier. So I may have made that confusing. He's not playing random, but
Yeah,
Tier does have a bot for each race at the moment. He just submitted his Terran to this tournament.
yeah, so
And early SCV going out. I wonder if that's scouting for proxies or going cheesy. We'll have to find out.
I don't know. I mean, I've
I mean,
just,
it's so early. It feels like it has to be cheese, right? Who would
yeah,
scout it this time?
unless he's going out just to do some light harass or something. He's got some kind of plan with it anyway, even being nice to you in chat. Oh,
Though, as I say that, he's going into the main base, so perhaps it is a scout.
yeah, and you're worried more here about the Reaper spot than you are about early kind of like harass wall off. So
Yeah, I'm not sure how well it works with this map because it takes so many structures to wall off that Reaper jump, but yeah, walling off the main ramp isn't that important versus Terran. Maybe he
yeah,
does some sort of big Hellion run by, but other than that, walls usually hurt you in TBT more than help.
yeah. So yeah, pretty much early expand from Ketroc. Here prefers to go for early barracks, 2 gas, and then he's gonna
Yeah,
go.
early second gas out of tier is interesting. Looks like he's saving up for an expand of his own, and
Maybe.
barracks is still kind of inactive. Yeah, not
Yeah,
the cleanest build order, I would say. He's like getting all this gas, but then his barracks isn't doing anything, and his command center isn't doing anything. So it's like maybe you shouldn't have gotten all this gas so early, so you could
yeah,
actually afford to use those structures.
yeah.
So maybe one gas, then expand, and then take the second gas, and that way you could afford your orbital and your Reaper or Marine, whatever it happens to be.
So Marine is coming out at the moment for tier. Meanwhile, Ketroc is producing another Marine. And Factory coming down now for both players.
Yeah.
So
So you can see in the bank the issue there. The tier is like floating 300 gas, so
yeah,
maybe it's important to save up all his resources right now. Like maybe he's going like 2-port battle cruiser or something, but I think it's probably just a mistake in the build order
yeah,
to have
possibly.
all this early gas.
Unless he has some kind of plan, but I don't know.
Oddly speaking of mistakes, my bot is going for a Banshee Cyclone build, which actually doesn't exist versus Terran. So
Oh,
my bot just did like a default build order that I built like when I first made my bot. So it's going for a PF expand, which means I would have instantly died to a Reaper all in. But
yeah.
yeah, this build is not supposed to be available for TBT. Oh well.
Ah, Well, if it wasn't for all the
Planetary working on the
bugs,
rocks.
I don't know, it could still work.
Yeah.
Um, so, what's the kind of like disadvantage of this build against Terran? And is it just something you don't like, or is it a specific thing that Terran can do to counter that? Do you think?
Well, it's a command center first build into planetary. It's kind of fine once you're set up, but if you go CC first into PF, then you have like one Marine when 3 Reapers jump into your base.
Yeah.
So it's just instant death versus a Reaper all in, more or less.
Okay.
Other
But
than
yeah,
Reaper all in, it's nothing that's too terrible against, I would think.
yeah. I mean, you look like it's fairly well set up now, and you know that Tyr is not all in you. Tyr has been in the past known to throw some all-ins in, but doesn't look like he's doing it this time. So
Yeah. So the first Cyclone popped out about the 4-minute mark. I think that's more or less when my bot would stabilize. So any all-in prior to 4 minutes that can bypass the planetary fortress, my bot build would probably be very weak too.
yeah. So we do have
Um,
a Cyclone and a few Marines out. No Banshees. Oh yeah, one Banshee being built at the moment.
yeah, so I'll be interested to see how this works versus Terran, because Cyclones are not good versus siege tank lines. You know, once those tanks
Yeah.
siege up, there's not much the Cyclones can do. I mean, the Banshees can maybe
Yeah.
um,
And
punch out the siege tanks, and maybe the Cyclones can protect the Banshees from Vikings. I'll have to see how this kind of works out.
yeah. Obviously, if they have detection there, then which Tyr doesn't at the moment, but probably going to react and build some detection if he sees the Banshees coming along, I guess.
Yeah.
That's,
Armory coming down fairly early for Tyr. Wonder if that's just for upgrades or if he has some plans for
ooh,
Thors or Burrowed Widow Mines or something.
yeah, that would be fun.
Couple starports of his own makes you think he probably wants to maintain air control, and he's now throwing up his third base ahead of Ketroc,
Yeah.
although slightly behind in the worker count.
So Viking does see the Banshee. Cloak is not quite finished, but just about to.
He instantly cloaks that he
Yeah.
gets scanned, but is able to dodge the scan at least once, so nothing else has forced that one scan.
2 scans, no?
2 scans and go back home.
Yeah.
Usually not the harass victory you're looking for, but it's something. Over time, that's 450 minerals you miss out on by not having 2 mules.
Yeah, and if you keep doing that, he's going to run out of scans eventually. So.
Or maybe even
There is-
500 minerals, as
Yeah.
my bot has learned how to boost the mule to get one more mining round in.
Yeah.
So I can get 250 where humans can only get 225.
That's good.
Yeah. And by 250, I mean sometimes 250.
Yeah.
It's kind of not the easiest to pull off. It's maybe like 60% successful at that boost.
Yeah. So there's a Banshee in the back there getting a few workers. Actually, looks like
Yeah,
6
Marines
worker
actually getting
kills.
picked off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marines and Cyclones able to protect the siege tank, keep it alive, and now the siege tank probably has a range on orbital, and that's going to be trouble.
Oh, we have a Thor out from Tyr. That's interesting.
Oh, that Thor micro.
Yeah.
The moment it gets locked onto, that medevac picks it up and prevents it from maintaining the lock. Not even a single missile shoots,
Oh,
let alone lands.
that's brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, Cyclones are not going to be useful versus Thors that have their own personal medevac.
Yeah. I mean, they're the kind of unit where you can just have a single medevac for each Thor. But you actually need
gross.
one. Yeah.
You can actually optimize it a little bit more by delaying the pickup.
Yeah.
You kind of want that first missile to fire, and then just as it's about to land, you pick it up.
That's pretty big
So
though.
the Cyclones like maintain that lock for no point,
Yeah, the
for no
Cyclone
reason.
did pick off the Raven, which was giving detection to the Banshee. So that might help. But this other Banshee over here, so it's getting taken down.
Yeah, well, it's being covered. There's a
Yeah.
Raven on that side of the map at least. But another Banshee coming back into the third base. Third base is actually low on hit points. That orbital is not being repaired at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's actually going to be lifted off. projecting itself against the Banshee, I guess.
Yeah. So it looks like Ketroc's able to take down this third base, probably.
Well, nothing can shoot a lifted orbital at the moment, but he does need to repair it.
Yeah.
It hasn't been repaired yet, and it's been burning for a while. Might be something not in the tier Terran bot yet.
Yeah, does tier have code to repair this? Because if this doesn't get repaired, you're looking at a 2-base Terran up against a 5-base Terran. That's not going to be good.
Question is, how do you kill Thors? Banshees don't kill Thors, that's for sure. And the Cyclones are not able to maintain a lock for more than 1 frame, so that's not killing Thors. So maybe it doesn't matter how many bases he has if his mass Thor just never gets killed.
So there's now a 4th going up for tier. Yeah, that third.
Genshin in the main base was able to pick up 5 kills, so that's something.
Yeah, the third is just going to burn down. 37, 30, 25.
Gotta zoom in for it. 3, 2, 1.
Boom!
There she goes.
Oh!
4th base is half gateway complete though, so soon there'll be somewhere to put those SCVs, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's the supply blocked here as well.
Yeah, repairing burning structures is something that's fairly generic that you can put into your bots, because every structure burns down at the same percentage. I think it's 25% health or 33% health, I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. That's not good though. Yeah, but how do you take down these Thors? I mean, currently there's only, what, 4 of them?
Yeah. The economy difference is a giant deal here.
Yeah.
Oh, a siege tank going down. But if there's a win condition for tier, I think it will be the Thor is not being able to die.
Yeah. It's
Let's
just
see.
impossible. I mean,
I think as my bot pulls up gas, it'll start massing Ravens, because I'm Ketroc. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So auto turrets might be the answer to Thors. I guess if Thors lose their detection, then Banshees will have a field day with them as well.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's enough kind of like orbital commands there to give at least a few scans for a while. Might go down eventually, but oh, there's some blue flame Hellions, which probably aren't going to do much against Thors either, but you know.
Yeah, well, they keep trying to get into the mineral line. One got into the natural and was able to
Yeah.
not kill many workers, but certainly put a lot of them into the orange and red, so they're ready for the next Hellion harass. Planetary is going down, so first base kill there for tier. That is something Thors are very good against. They kill bases. They kill planetaries without taking any damage.
Yeah. Took a bit of damage from the tanks, but yeah, just not really taking any damage at all there and taking down the second planetary.
And this is scary. He's like if he marches right on top of the production, this game will end.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, there's only 5 Thors. One of them's getting pretty low.
So yeah, one more base down from Ketroc.
Where'd the Raven go though? The Raven's gone.
Yeah.
Because Banshee should really jump in there, but they're not.
Yeah, so this planetary is getting repaired, so it looks like Thor's able to take out most of the SCVs that are repairing it.
I'm still a little surprised why the Banshees aren't jumping on the Thors. There's no detection.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a Raven there.
Is there? Oh, is it piled into those medevacs?
Yeah, there's 2 Ravens on there. I think we're looking at different battles.
Okay.
There's 2 Ravens at the one at like 9 o'clock in the middle of the map. Ah, so I think they're also scared of the Vikings a bit as well. Oh, but now the Banshees are going to get a lot of damage down.
Yeah, and the Thors are in high impact mode, which is not the mode they want to be in
Yeah.
to crush Banshees. It's about the same single target damage versus light units,
Yeah.
but you know, Banshees obviously can get a ton of splash damage when there's this many of them.
Yeah.
And fourth base getting denied yet again from Tier, including a planetary trying to deny it.
Yep. I think it just has. Oh wait, so there's not enough medivacs around these Thors now, so the Cyclones can go in as well if there's Cyclones there.
Yeah, one Thor going down. Looks like there's only 4 left.
Yeah.
I think this is the beginning of the end. He's getting kind of crushed from all angles right now.
Yeah, so it's...
Not enough Ravens to go around, you know, trying to deal with the harassed Banshees, but at the same time, you gotta cover those Thors.
Yeah. It just looks like the Banshees are a bit scared to jump in. Yeah, the worker count from Tier is also in the dirt at the moment. There's no real mining going on at all. Like, you've got the naturals dead, the main base is almost dead, and the third base is kind of under siege, so you're not getting much mining from there either. So it's difficult to see how Tier comes back at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think so. Mining out in the main and natural as well. Third base is running out of workers. It's been harassed so heavily by Banshees and Hellions.
Yeah,
So I like the Thor idea. The Thor micro was really cool. But just some things the Tier wasn't able to handle, and then the economy advantage is probably the big factor.
yeah. So
Looks like the final
base,
2 Thors are going down.
Yeah, third base is going down as well. That is pretty much the end of any income that Tier would have had. And now the Banshees can come in and take their field day.
Yeah, Cyclone lock-ons as well.
Yeah. No medivacs left.
All she wrote.
Alright, I'm going to call it there. GG. Let's speed this up and give Ketroc the win. Congratulations. I can see why Tier wanted to face you, but yeah, just not quite enough in that tactic.
Yeah, the economic lead was something really difficult to get over. But if he, say, got up to like 9, 10 Thors, and he always kept the Raven near the Thors and protected from the Vikings, I don't see how that army just doesn't walk over everything Ketroc has.
Yeah. It's a
Maybe if
scary
I
one.
jumped in with auto turrets and Banshees and stuff, I know my bot won't do that. It'll stay afraid of the Thors that have detection.
Yeah. It's definitely a scary one there. But yeah, it's one of those tactics I think, like you say, if he balls them up a bit more and gets to a higher Thor count, that's scary. Um,
Yeah,
right.
Thors are a difficult unit to deal with because they have such long range.
Yeah.
And my bot doesn't have really the concept of an army. So they just have individual units, and every individual units will think, should I jump into the range of the Thor? And the answer is always going to be no. So sometimes I'll have like 25 Ravens all scared of one Thor. So I had to build in some
Yeah.
specific logic just for that. I think Cyclones are smart enough to jump into Thor range, and so are Ravens with auto turrets. Banshees may not be, though.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a look at game 2, shall we?
Yeah, I'm all set when you are.
Cool. Okay. Going in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Up in the top of Moondance, it is our blue Terran down 1-0. It is Tia.
And spawning in the bottom right, we have the red Terran. It's Ketroc. Up 1-0.
Yep. with a build that you shouldn't have even used. So
Yep. Looks like we're saying the same thing about tier here.
yeah.
Gas first with a very early SCV scout.
So I'm wondering if that explains why he goes early 2 gas, but I guess it shouldn't because it's not really efficient, but I guess it might make sense when you're massing Thors.
Yeah, Thor's a medevacs and stuff. You do want a lot of gas. You just don't want the gas this early in the game. Like he was delaying his barracks units, so he was vulnerable to all ins. He delaying the orbital just so that we can put him further behind the minerals, and all to pool up like
Yeah,
hundreds of gas in the start of the game for not
yeah,
really a good reason.
yeah,
So yeah, I think opening one gas, expand. You can still get your factory at the same time, and then once you start your second base, then you can go up to 4 gas if you want.
yeah, yeah. So he is taking the early second gas there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this base does have the pocket expand at the back, so I'm not sure if that's going to affect tactics at all. Easier to defend the third base, of course, but less resources from it. So yeah,
Yeah.
does add some interesting extra tactical nuance you can play. Yeah,
My
so
bot does have the concept of pocket bases, so it won't do silly things like sending the whole army to the pocket base to defend it or something. Like it knows that it's protected.
yeah,
It
yeah.
can be an orbital. You don't need to defend it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if bots use any specific code to kind of like whether to take it or not, because obviously you've got one less gas there and like one less mineral patch. So, you know, there are obviously advantages and disadvantages to taking that. It is well defended, but there's less there.
Um, yeah, I think
Yeah,
my bot takes it as its third.
yeah,
It's just it might not be always be the optimal choice for an expand, but it's not a bad generic choice to have to take it third.
yeah. And a lot of the time when making bots, of course, you want to simplify things as much as possible because that makes
Yeah,
coding easier and takes less time to do. And if you can just simplify and make a generic choice where, you know, works 99% of the time, that's probably the best option.
yeah. Even if it works like even if it makes sense 80% of the time, that's like
Yeah,
a great choice to use. Because at any moment in time in the game, there's probably like millions of different decisions you could take, right? So you kind of want to knock those millions down to like 3 or 4 for like every unit.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's Starport again out of Ketroc. And where is this factory going? Oh, so another Starport coming out of Ketroc.
It decided to go mass banshee this game,
Ah,
Ketroc, so it doesn't use the factory. I've actually
oh,
started work on like swapping add-ons and stuff, so I could use the factory for that. But for now, since there's no factory units being built in this game, I just lift it off just to free up space in my main base for more production.
okay. So it's just going to sit there floating for quite a while then.
Yep.
Ah, nice.
Sometimes I'll lose a game, but then Hydras will push the factory into a dead zone, and then I'll get a draw out of it. So that floating factory
Yeah,
has gotten me many undeserving draws on the ladder in the past.
it doesn't work so well these days with like different divisions and having kind of like obviously bots are better prepared for that kind of thing. But yeah,
Yeah,
certainly
yeah.
it works there occasionally. So yeah.
I feel I deserve those draws too because
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't float it over the dead space. If you're literally going to push it into the dead space with your own units, then that's not on me. That's on you.
I always take the
I've done
opinion.
what I can. I leave it
Yeah.
in my main base.
I always take the opinion, especially running on ladder in any tournament, is like if your bot can't finish an opponent's bot and get the win by itself, it doesn't deserve the win. You know, so I think pro bots have a slightly different approach to that, where they will give the win to the other players. But yeah, um,
Yeah,
which
I
is
think there has to be
fine,
like
and
meaningful actions out of your
yeah,
bot.
which is
So
fine,
if you get to the
and
point where just floating in the corner, you're not really doing any meaningful actions anymore.
yeah, yeah, and that's fine. Also respect that as well. Obviously, if a bot just goes out to cheese a draw, that's not really in the spirit of it. But again, that's not really cheesing a draw, is it? It's yeah, it's,
Yeah. And I do think I should I was actually considering putting in code to float my structures to dead spaces because there have been not many games, but there have been games where it's gotten into a base trade And if I just floated my structures away, I might have been able to win the base trade. But
Yeah,
since I just leave them to die, I die first.
yeah,
That is like an actual tactical thing that Terran has. They can float to a corner, which is their advantage in a base trade scenario.
yeah.
Kind of puts the onus on the opponent to kill the Terran army.
Especially if you've gotten like a situation where a Protoss has come across the map to cheese you, and you've gone to cheese the Protoss, you're going to win that base trade.
Yeah, it looks like a Banshee's getting caught.
Yeah,
We'll spot the pocket base, which I guess is something, but didn't do anything except for I think injure one SCV.
yeah, yeah. That poor
Damage
SCV
report is
there.
not looking good.
No. Another one coming out though, so hopefully that might get
Yep, one
some
heading
better
into the main,
results.
another one slowly making its way to the natural.
Yep. Might get this
Already this
SCV
Banshee's done
there.
better than the previous one.
Yep.
Actually, some idle SCVs in the main base for tier. Once again, though, Banshee's getting pushed into a corner, which is not a good way to get away here. He might be able to escape, though. It's going to be close.
I
No.
don't think so, no. I think the Vikings are just that bit too fast. I mean,
And with that, that's going to be the end of the Banshee harass.
yeah. I gotta say there's some really good defense there from Ketroc.
From tier, yeah.
From Tier, yes, apologies. And you see the rest of the Banshees are gonna go streaming back home. And
This looks like Ketroc's doing a bit of a push out.
yeah,
More of a full army attack this time. And one Banshee is already at the front line, so he's joined the attack early, but actually,
yeah,
all the units are wiggling a lot. I'm not quite sure what's happening here.
yeah. It looks like a solid defense there from Tier though. They've got the obviously got the Ravens and a couple of Thors there. Those Thors are going to make very light work of the Banshees.
Yeah, but I think the entire army of Ketroc is trying to attack, but is kind of bugging out in the middle of the map, just going back and forward,
Yeah,
back and forward. Looks like now it's finally able to progress to the front, but
yeah.
still got the wiggles.
I think it's just a bit scared of all those Thors and the Ravens and everything.
It's weird. It's like when one unit gets scared, all the other units get scared too,
Yeah.
even though they're nowhere like near the fight.
Yeah.
So something's very broken with Ketroc. Hopefully it doesn't affect the bot too heavily.
And now it looks like Tyr has just gone like, what are you doing? Stop dancing at my front gate. Yes.
I mean, behind this, Ketroc's still expanding, keeping a nice economy.
Yeah. The economy is good, but I'm not so sure about the composition.
Yeah, the
Like,
composition, well, certainly the army movement is completely a mess
yeah.
right now to Ketroc. But we'll have to see what happens.
But looking at it, like, I think Tyr has detection, they have Thors, they have Vikings. It's difficult to see how Banshees are really going to get in and do damage.
Yeah, that's true.
But saying that, the economy is very impressive, as always from Ketroc, but Tyr's not going to run out of minerals anytime soon either. Fourth base is going up.
Yeah, I think this is looking good for Tyr.
Yeah.
He's going to have the definite composition advantage, and it's not like his economy is being slowed down at all this game. Last game, it was like Banshee harass all game long, messing with him, as long as with Hellions.
Yeah.
No Hellions coming out of the floating factory this game, and the Banshees are literally doing nothing. Doing worse than nothing.
It's just
It's
dancing.
like having seizures all over the map.
Do we need to put a seizure warning on this, I think.
Alright. Tyr is now taking his 5th base. Ketroc is taking all the bases.
Yep. And this might
Okay, Banshees
actually...
did find the spot where the Thors weren't, so I was able to get a missile turret and an add-on.
Yeah.
Losing all the Vikings, however.
Just like, right, yeah, the Vikings are all going down. Banshees Still managing to escape just about. But this might prompt a bit of a move out from tier here if Ketroc takes all the other bases. So, yeah, just managed to get in through the back a little bit, but meanwhile, Tier is moving out and taking down a planetary.
Stim was actually cancelled there by those Banshees in the main base.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, kind of attacks going on everywhere now, but Thor Force is still looking very scary.
Yeah, I mean...
But since the Thors have moved out, the Banshees are finding damage, which is kind of what Ketroc needs. He needs a base trade. Fighting the Thors straight up is not going to work too well, I don't think.
Yeah, these Thors are just going to go pretty much uncontested. Like, 2 more bases now being taken down by Ketroc.
But there's no detection for these Thors, though. These Banshees are actually doing a lot of work to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been just a game-losing move there. The Ravens ended up way into Ketroc's natural for some reason.
Yeah.
Abandoned the Thors, and now there's just one Thor remaining.
So
having a little one-on-one play with the Planetary.
Yeah, there's a scan there. But looks like all the Thors have gone down now. And the air backer is also being won by Ketroc.
Yeah, that was the one advantage for Tier, was those Thors, and I think now he's lost those Thors, he's going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
So he's facing a, 72 base Terran right now.
It's pretty crazy. Ketroc did lose a couple of bases there, but Thor looks like it's just going to dive straight into the natural, which is not where you want to be.
No. That's the end of the push out of Tier. Although Tier's economy is still looking quite healthy.
Yeah.
It's got those 5 bases, 6 going up. So he has definitely the opportunity to recover and build up that scary Thor force again. Hopefully the second attack will be more in sync.
He's got 3 of them up. And yeah, and obviously the more bases that Tier can get up, the more scans he's going to have to detect those Banshees. 5 Thors. It's 5 Thors, not 5 Thors. This planetary's going down. Do those Thors outrange the planetary? I think they do just about, don't they?
They do if you don't have high sec auto tracking.
Yes.
With high sec, they have the same range.
Yeah.
Yeah, against most Terrans, you can just A-move the planetary. Most human Terrans, you can just A-move the planetary, and the PF won't be able to shoot back.
Yeah.
And that's what I was worried about. Thor's with the Raven over top.
Oh.
Means all these Banshees are too afraid to jump.
Yeah, and
now, there's only 3 Thors remaining. Maybe the planetary can actually survive this with SCV repair.
Oh, but
although the
there's 3 more
SCVs are being targeted now.
There's 3 more coming in as well at the back.
Yeah, that's true. 1 Thor went down, but that leaves 5 in total.
Yeah. And now it looks like the Thor's going to get on top of production.
Yeah, definitely looks that way. Even denying +3 armor on the armory there. And yeah, these Banshees can easily win this fight, as long as they don't clump together. But they're just, like I thought, it's like the individual aspect of every unit with the Ketroc pod means that each individual unit's too afraid to jump in on the Thors.
Oh no. Yeah. There's a lot of Banshees there. Like, there's what, 24 Banshees? You could, like you say, easily just jump on top of this whole clump.
Yeah, for sure. As long as you're not taking splash, like heavy splash damage, it's simply winnable.
Yeah.
However.
Yeah. So
this is what I was afraid of in game 1. I feel like this this is gonna work.
Yeah, and we're seeing all the time more Thors pouring across from Tier now. He's got maxed out army, 12 Thors on the battlefield against the 24 Banshees. And obviously with all the production being taken out, there's not a lot more to come as, yeah, looks like Thors are going to get some damage on top of his Banshees as well.
Yeah, and just wiping out the entire mineral line. SCVs keep heading back into the main base to rebuild structures and keep dying.
Yeah.
See, the economy's not going to last for Ketroc much longer either.
Do you have code to build structures elsewhere other than the main, or is it just always in the main?
I think they always pick a safe position, but it'll think like the back of the main base is safe. Now, getting to the back of the main base is not safe, obviously, because you need to walk through the Thors, so it doesn't have that concept really.
Yeah.
However,
Tio's reversing.
Thors are volunteering to leave, which gives a fighting hope to Ketroc.
Yeah.
Whereas when I say leave, it looks like they're actually going to work on another base.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just... The problem is Ketroc has so many bases that that's going to be difficult. They've still got a nearly maxed out army, so...
Yeah, this Thor count is actually insane right now. There's like 11 of them on the offense here.
Yeah, 14 in total, and 11 at the gates of the main base with some more walking through.
There's a minor Banshee harass going on.
Yeah.
Doing some damage, forcing a lot of missile turret cancels. Which, you know, that's a lot of income.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Small victory is not what Ketroc needs here. It needs something major.
And this is something a lot of bots struggle with, is basically they'll have 2 units on top of a ramp denying all the other units getting in there.
Yeah. Especially siege tanks, so they siege on the ramp, they just block all the padding.
Yeah. Well, that's something that humans suffer with as well. But yeah.
I mean, auto turrets are slowly killing Marines. Raven count's slowly growing a little bit as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Ketroc needs something major. Like, he needs, like, the Ravens to go on a little vacation again.
Yeah.
So the Banshees can jump the Thors or something along those lines. I mean, the Raven count is still large. Or, sorry, the Banshee count is still large, so...
Yeah. So you could jump on top and kill a lot of this army. And the Thor army is actually...
Thor goes down to a planetary.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be it. PF will go down.
Yeah. So it's really at this point, like, I think Tyr is playing a game of whack-a-mole with Ketroc bases.
Yeah.
There's just
it looks
so
like some
many of them.
SCVs... Yeah. Looks like some SCVs did make it back into the main base, so Ketroc is finally starting to rebuild his production.
Yeah. This
Looks like it's favoring Viking production for some reason, which I guess I don't mind, because really the win condition is sniping those Ravens. One of them's in the red.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
It's going to be tough.
At some point, he's got to kill this army.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing is Tyr's kind of locked in on his 6 bases. So I don't think there's a 7th coming anytime soon.
No. And where Tyr just taken out the Ketroc's base, Ketroc just built another one. So it really is kind of like just playing a game of whack-a-mole with Ketroc bases at the moment.
I'm wondering if Ketroc wants to have all these Vikings, or if it just doesn't know how to rebuild tech labs. Okay, as I say that, he just built 4 tech labs on starports. So I think he reached the Viking count he wanted. Now it's time to hopefully swap back into Ravens with enough auto turrets so he can fight these Thors. I know the Banshees aren't going to jump the Thors though, which is a problem.
Yeah, that's it's a bit of a not exactly what you want, is it?
I did have a bug last season where my bot didn't understand when bases were available to retake. So this is a good game to prove that bug is gone. As my bot is constantly losing and retaking bases.
So at least this one that Tyr's just taken out, he is taking his own, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's the 7th base now out of Tyr.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking really good for Tyr here. Units lost is way in his favor, up 2-1 in the units lost
Oh,
tab.
that's more than 2-1, in fact. Probably about
Yep.
2.5, but yeah. Yeah, as Theo goes down for this base here.
Yeah, this Banshee build is just not the one to deal with these Thors, I think.
No,
Even now the starports are producing and they're building more Banshees and Vikings, and like, it's not gonna work. Banshees are too scared, Vikings aren't helpful at all.
yeah. It's... Yeah, the Vikings aren't really going to deal with this at all, are they?
I think once the Banshee count gets to a certain number, or there's some sort of
Yeah.
trigger to make my bot start switching to Mass Raven, that I think has a fighting chance versus Thors. Not a good fighting chance, but at least it'll be able to engage.
Yeah.
Okay, a little forward harassment here once again, getting a bunch of SCV kills.
Yes, you can definitely tell the efficiency in Tyr at the moment just because of his bank. You know, he could almost entirely rebuild, kind of like a few Thors if they lost them now. So it's not going to get any better for Ketroc, I don't think.
Yeah. In that engagement, one Raven did go down for Tyr.
Yeah.
Oh, and the second Raven just went home. Okay, this might be what Ketroc requires. Let's see if the Banshees are smart enough to jump on the Thors, or whether they think that there's still detection there or not.
They're more scared of the scans as well.
Oh, the Raven's back too.
Yeah.
And there's the second Raven.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That window of opportunity disappeared really quickly. Well, turrets and planetary fighting together is something. Maybe one or two Thors might go down, but actually a lot of Thors not shooting. I want that planetary to get a lot more shots than it should have.
This Thor's quite low.
Yep. Takes a long time for planetary to kill Thors. Planetary has about the same DPS as a single Marauder.
Oh god, yeah.
Really, the power of the planetary is its armor and its splash damage, and neither of those are useful versus Thors. So.
Yeah.
But with that said, it will focus down the weak Thors first, so it gets a kill here and there.
Yeah, it does do some damage.
Really, that's the only thing fighting Thors right now for Ketroc is the planetaries. So.
Yeah, this Thor tactic is brilliant, I think.
Yeah.
So again, Tyr is going to come in, try and take out the production. Not sure there's any production anywhere else for Ketroc. I think we've got a couple of starports at the back base. And the factory is still floating there.
Oh yeah, they did get pushed into the dead zone. Maybe that'll be my
Yeah.
the hope for a draw.
I think Tyr has got that covered, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. Although he can't repair his own structures, so
Yeah.
sometimes you miss some of the basics if it doesn't show up in your ladder matches.
Yeah. See, I think Tyr gets easily distracted with these Thors as well. He'll come out and, like, you know, take out a base here and a base there, when what he probably should do is just get rid of all the production structures and, you know, make sure that no more production is going, and then take out all the other exposed bases.
Yeah. Yeah, the big difference between game one is the strategy choice out of Ketroc. So there's no Cyclones getting lock-ons, there's no Siege tanks in the mix, there's no Hellions harassing mineral lines.
Yeah.
Even the Banshee harass was relevant the entire game in game one.
Yeah.
But this strategy is just too much of a mono battle out of Ketroc, and it's picking the Tyr picked the perfect unit to counteract it.
Yeah. It really is. I think
How many planetaries have gone down this game? It's gotta be like double digits at this point.
Yeah. So that's, yes, 12 planetaries and 3 orbitals.
Wow.
Yeah. So some Banshee harass in the main of tier.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's getting a few kills.
Bunch of SCVs, a lot of missile turret
Yeah.
denials. I don't think Tier's going to be bottlenecked on minerals, though. He's probably going to be bottlenecked on gas.
He's got
And in fact,
such...
if you look at Tier's bank right now,
yeah.
since he's lost almost nothing this game, he's got money for days. Look at those banks.
Yeah, I mean, the losses is just not good. Like for Ketroc there. As Ketroc loses his 13th orbital, no, 14th planetary fortress of the game. Oh,
15th on the way.
yeah. Yeah. And lots of SCVs around to repair, but they're also going to go down. At this point, I'd almost support Tyr just suiciding all of his work, or at least most of his workers, just to build a few more Thors and get the job done a bit quicker. But
Yeah. Or just being more suicidal with his Thors. You know, you could throw down like 10 factories in the background and just spawn
yeah.
Thors non-stop for the rest of the game with that bank. It's insane.
Yeah.
I think Dominion Dog had a lot of success with Thors versus my bot as well.
Yeah. So it's what, 16 down? No. PF count at 16.
Okay. And Banshees are finding some work though here and there.
Yeah.
I don't think hurting an economy of a somewhat 30k bank is a big deal, but at this point, anything to make the unit's lost tab not look so one-sided is helpful for Ketroc. Yeah, but I just don't see a win condition for Ketroc here. Like basically, those Ravens have to just go away somehow or get caught by the Vikings, and if it hasn't happened yet, I don't think it's going to.
So another PF going down. Yeah, what would be good against the Thors here? I guess kind of like you could snipe them with ghosts maybe, but you know, I don't think you've really got that in you, unfortunately, or the bot at least. So we have 13
Well, what to
Thors.
say here?
Yeah.
Yeah, 13 Thors on the offense. Yeah, looks like they're going to go wipe out the main base for a third time here.
Yeah. Well, this time maybe he'll stay.
Ketroc is desperately low in minerals right now too.
Yeah.
It's all the more reason I want Ketroc to be making Ravens. I feel the Ravens are the unit he needs, and it's also the only unit he can afford, but these starports, every time I click on them, Banshees and Vikings, that's all they're building.
Yeah, and Ketroc's pretty broke at the moment as well. Like, lots of bases, a reasonable amount of income, but still, you're pretty broke.
Yeah, a lot of SCVs dying as well.
Yeah.
Trying to transfer to these north bases. Yeah, I think this might be the beginning of the end here.
Yeah. Alright, I think, yeah, I say it's almost over, but like, I don't want to say it's over, but Ketroc's still on like 157 supply, so this is a lot of army here for Ketroc. So this is kind of why we're not calling it immediately, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's got 10k gas, 66 workers.
Yeah.
Something's going to have to change for him to get back to this game, but if something does change, you could get back into the game.
Yeah.
If things keep going the way they're going, there's obviously no chance.
Yeah. So yeah, and keeping the working count high, despite how many bases he's losing. I'd like to see how many workers have been lost for Ketroc as well. 388 SCVs have gone down for Ketroc this game.
Well, that explains why his mineral broke. Between the command centers and the SCVs, that's
Yeah.
tens of thousands of minerals.
So just for the economy line, 19 planetary fortresses, like 4 orbital commands, 407 SCVs. If someone could do the math and work out exactly how much that costs,
I think I'm just realizing now too that I think my bot is grabbing the attack range of units from the API, and I don't think the API is up to date with the latest patch, at least not in Java.
yeah.
So it probably thinks these Thors are a lot shorter range than they are. That's why the Banshees keep dipping into attack range of the Thors time after time, allowing them to get those like free pot shots.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be a problem there.
I could be wrong, but
Still, this Thor's just waiting at the back here, like, give me my chance to shoot! Give me my chance to shoot!
if you said there would be a Ketroc game where one bot has the biggest bank I've ever seen,
I mean, this might be it.
that would definitely be. I wouldn't be on the losing end of that.
Yeah.
I bought loads of giant banks, but
Yeah.
yeah, one Thor not being covered by detection allows the Banshee to get it. Nope, doesn't even finish off the Thor.
Nope,
Can't got it.
Yeah, and down below 100 now. I think it is almost time we
yeah, I think we do it.
Yeah, I think we fast forward the end of this game, guys. GG, well played to Tia there. I mean, that's a fantastic tactic. And it'd be interesting to see if Ketroc can come up with a tactic to beat this. And we know that you have several other tactics available, so...
Yeah, as long as nothing's wrong with the data, I don't think my bot will choose this build again. So, and nothing. If nothing else, I'll try something different.
Yeah.
We do need a final tally on the SCV and command center kills by the end of the game, though.
There we go. 539 SCVs, 5 orbital command centers, and 24 planetary fortresses dead.
And 7 command centers.
And 7 command centers as well. Sorry, yeah. That was a massacre, guys. GG though. That was very well played there. All right.
Yeah,
after that marathon game,
we got a series now.
Yeah, let's take a look at game 3.
Yeah, I'm just loading it up here.
Cool.
So 1-1, and this will be a best of 5.
Best of 5, yeah. So hopefully, let's see. All right. So I'm good to go when you are.
Yep, I'm all set.
All right, going in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, up in the top left-hand corner of Stargazers, it is Tia.
And tied 1-1, spawning the top right, we have the Red Terran Ketroc. So yeah, kind of a different map. Stargazers has that, once again, that infamous pocket expand with the minerals blocking it. That confuses a lot of bots, my own included.
I'm not sure if Tia will be confused by that. We'll wait and see. But again, it's a very nice kind of pocket expand for Banshees as well to fly right over to, especially if people aren't expecting it. And obviously the kind of map where an air unit can obviously traverse the map a lot quicker than ground units.
And I did notice that Ketroc said he's going Banshees again,
Uh,
which is not good.
oh,
Like he
okay.
literally says, I'm 1-0 with Banshee Cyclone, 0-1 with Banshee. Let's choose Banshee.
Yeah, I mean, there must be other tactics there we can have a look at possibly, but
Yeah, I thought I would pick one of the unused builds or
uh,
actually this is why does it not have any stats on tier in the ladder?
uh,
It's interesting. Like
so
it's considering this a brand new bot, I think.
yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's using the ID from random bot maybe. Uh, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, so when my bot faces a brand new bot, it just tries to collect data. So right now it's just doing like a let me try, 5 of each strategy versus a spot first of all, and then
ah,
I'll go on to picking builds. So right now
I
it's just
see.
kind of like randomly selecting.
Ah, okay.
Um, so that's not good because that means that it'll have no issue continuing to use builds that fail.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll use a different one next time though.
Yeah,
And yeah, and like I say, even using the same strategy on this map where it kind of does favor air units a bit more, that can possibly work in its favor.
yeah, possibly. I mean, the Banshee harassment really poorly on the last game because the Banshees retreated deeper into the base, which allowed
Yeah,
them to get cornered and killed.
yeah,
Where that didn't happen in game one. So even the Banshee harass going better could just turn this whole game on its side.
yeah,
But there's
definitely.
still has to be an answer to the Thors later in the game, which
Yeah,
I'm worried about with this strategy because yeah, the Banshees just don't want to engage them. Period, and
yeah,
that's a problem when you're going mass Banshee.
yeah. I also think a lot of the time the Ravens from tier were going on walkabout sometimes, which could give the Banshees a bit more window to harass. So yeah,
Doesn't look like the pocket expand is going to be an issue for Tyr as he's actually mining out those minerals. So this is a bot that is not confused by that base.
yeah. So there they go. EF up and going. Tech Lab on the way, and the 4th starport on the way from Ketroc. Meanwhile, we've got a tank and a few marines. So pretty much the same builds as last time from both bots.
Yeah, it should be pretty mirrored from the previous game.
Yep,
The pocket expand thing will make things a little bit different this game. Looks like Tyr will probably be expanding within the pockets. Ketroc definitely won't be.
yep. And first Banshee is on the way.
Yeah, if the first Banshee goes along the goes clockwise around the map, then it'll probably arrive the same time as the second Banshee, which goes
Yep,
counterclockwise. If they do
yeah,
it in the opposite way, then the first Banshee will probably arrive before Cloak is even ready, which could be an issue.
yeah, we'll get there soon enough. But what I would say is if the first Banshee does get there in time, it might even be able to deny this third base here from tier.
Yeah, absolutely. If it goes straight there, it'll definitely pick off that one SCV.
Yep,
That's always the best SCV to kill, the one producing a structure.
and it looks like that's what's happening. So it's
Yeah,
going to be a bit of a race here. I
yeah.
think that the Banshee will win it. If only just.
I don't know. Command Center's built slow. He's
Yeah,
that's definitely not going to finish. It's going to be a good 20 seconds left on it, I think.
nice little pick off there from the first Banshee. Cloak is still some way off. Oh no, Cloak has just finished, sorry. Nice scan, took out the Banshee. It's claiming 1 kill, but I'm sure it had 2.
Yeah, just the one who was shooting at
Yeah.
the siege tank a little bit. It injured another SCV.
Yeah.
It did force out 2 scans though, so that's kind of break evenish. And now there's gonna be 2 banshees arriving more or less at the same time. One in the natural, as one is approaching the pocket base slightly afterwards.
Getting a nice couple of kills.
Yes, the one at the natural will not survive. Does get picked off by that Viking.
Yeah.
And with that one dying, it's actually going to spark my bot into stopping the Banshee harass. Even though the third Banshee was doing well, since the first 2 died, it's kind of like, nah, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually a much faster third base out of tier this game.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same game 1 and game 2, I can't recall.
No, I think...
Like, Ketroc only finishing up his third now.
Yeah, I think in game 1 and 2, I think definitely has a slower third. So Ketroc maybe moving out? Not quite.
Yeah, Ketroc's testing the front line, but, you know, it's not going to be able to find any opportunity there.
Yeah.
The harassing matches are kind of done, so it's just trying to do a frontal assault, but with all these Vikings and Marines and Thors, it's not going to get in there. It's forcing out some scans, which I guess is something, but...
Yeah, there's a Raven in there with that as well, so that's going to give it some detection. So... Nice little... A bit of a love tap there on the Viking, but nothing more. I'll say, hey, get out of my face of the base. But, yeah, there's Ketroc now going up to 5 bases.
Yeah, there's also a map with a lot less bases.
Yeah.
So even that small advantage Ketroc had last game of just having like way bigger economy is going to be hard to pull off. Although maybe with less bases, he'll be able to take them all and deny them from tier for a while.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what can go different than last game that will give Ketroc a chance.
Yeah, I think tier already building up the Thor count, which is going to be dangerous.
Fourth base does get denied for a little bit by Banshee picking off the SCV.
Yep.
Ketroc does have the seizure on his units again. They're all wiggling way too much. Not sure what's going on there. Conflicting commands. One line of code telling it to attack, and another line telling it to retreat.
Yeah. That's definitely a problem. Banshee almost getting picked off. You'll have to excuse me for not moving the camera too much. I've got a cat attacking me. She almost walked over the keyboard a second ago, so I'm like, no, get off! Don't be pausing the game or whatever.
Okay, so Ketroc's upping its star port count as well as getting some macro orbitals. Tyr is taking a 4th base in a different location this time, and looks like he'll probably be able to get it up. Did lose the missile turret, but that's all.
Yeah.
And it looks like Ketroc's going to expand to the bottom left. Yeah, so maybe a containment or some kind could work.
Yeah.
But when you're containing someone when you're afraid to attack their army, I don't suspect it'll last for long.
Yeah, so a nice little attack here up in the north as well. Takes out the missile turret and the protection there.
Yeah, just one thing I didn't consider. Like, since it's an all-air army, the fact that that pocket base is kind of exposed might be trouble for Tyr. He'll have to run his Thors back through his main base and then back out through the natural to defend the other bases. Thors are pretty slow, and that could be a big issue for him over time.
Unless there's any way to mine out the wall there, but I don't think he's going to do that for a while.
Like, I think Ketroc's even trying to expand to that forward base.
Yeah. Oh god, that would be so good.
Over. Okay, big move out now from Tyr. A bunch of SCVs and about 5 Thors and a couple tanks. Pocket base might actually go down for tier here. It's burning, so we do know what that means. Once it's burning,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
100% dead. It's a matter of when.
Yeah. So that's going on 17, 16, go. Oh, boom. In the meantime, Ketroc is attacking the third base of, or Tyr is attacking the third base of Ketroc here.
Yeah, losing all of his Marines, but I suspect all of the Thors. Well, there's a lot of SCV repair. Maybe he'll lose one Thor.
Yeah. So, we'll lose a lot of SCVs as well, by the looks of things.
Yeah, just focusing down those SCVs, one of those things that bots can do. Really makes PF repair kind of not so good.
Yeah. And Ketroc, or Tyr is going to probably walk directly into the main, maybe.
Yeah. He did lose the siege tanks in the back, though. The Ravens didn't have them protected, and the Banshees is able to come at him from behind.
There's still one there. This doesn't look good for Ketroc, though, unfortunately.
No.
We know in the last game Tyr did have a habit of getting very distracted by other bases. I'm not sure if that's going to be the same deal here. As the Thors are all sat up there waiting to get in. As one goes down, Banshee is able to come and pick up a couple there, but not too much longer. Yeah, it's difficult to know what's stopping all these Thors getting in here. Like, that probably the once the barracks go down, I think they should be able to all pile in. Doesn't look like they're getting distracted. Oh, it's always something.
Yeah. I mean, there's a full surround of Banshees around those Thors, like on all sides. So it's reinforcements will probably get cut off quite well. But,
yeah. So there's a base burning down from Tyr as well. So how many starports is that? I'm down.
Yeah, Ketroc got pretty rich there. He was able to get a bunch of orbitals and starports set up when he maxed. But yeah, those are all disappearing now.
Yeah. So, yeah, that might be a burning orbital to Mars. So what I would say is Ketroc's able to quite effectively stem the tide of reinforcements coming through. And there is only like 5 Thors left in here. I say only 5 Thors, that's still quite a significant force.
Yeah, down to 4 actually.
Yeah.
Every once in a while the Banshees find a little window where the Ravens aren't giving detection.
So one is now being repaired.
Yeah, it's just losing all the production. It's just it's
it's
that win condition that that people have against Terrans that doesn't exist versus the other race. Other races. If you get on top of their production, it doesn't matter what else they have, they just lose.
Yeah.
Alright. Reinforcement Thor going down very nicely.
Yeah. A few of them are getting down. They're being separated a lot from the Ravens, I think, and that's the problem. So if they can keep doing that and multiple commands.
Yeah, all these new units are being built though, just instantly die to the Thors in the main base. Just wasting so many resources out of Ketroc.
Yeah.
And they're all Vikings too, which is kind of necessary because the Vikings... Oh, another Thor goes down the main.
So the other thing I'd say is Ketroc is supply blocked to the... to basically, like, he ain't building no more units for a long time.
Yeah.
That is the worst supply block I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a good thing because it's probably only going to be building SCVs that die.
Yeah.
Because until these Thors get out of the main base, if they ever do, is just going to keep sending SCVs to the main base to rebuild the production,
Yeah.
which just means like that's just going to be like a steady supply of dead SCVs is what it's
Yeah.
going to be. Alright, Thors are heading towards the bottom left now. Let's see if he can take out that planetary. Because if he can't, you know, if he can't get a 6th base, maybe there's like some outside chance of Ketroc getting back into this.
Yeah, that's...
Once again, catching a Thor in the middle of the map. Although he wasn't quite able to finish it.
Yeah. But just looking at the supplies now, I think it's a pretty forlorn hope for Ketroc here.
Yeah, there's got to be an answer to those Thors in the main, which there just isn't yet.
Yeah. I mean, you say that, but there's no more production in the main, really, so...
Yeah, but that's where
Yeah.
Ketroc builds his production, so
Yeah.
you have to
Fair
empty
enough.
them out so you can rebuild the production and then finally spend that 10k bank that Ketroc has
Yeah.
built up. They might leave on their own, which is probably the only way they're going to leave. Now the base in the bottom left is being threatened.
And obviously they've got the gold base there as well, which may end up going down pretty fast.
Last Thor does go down in the main, okay.
Yeah. You got your main
Now,
back.
maybe. Let's see what Ketroc does again. Immediately building a command center and 6 supply depots. Good choice.
Yeah, I mean, you're not supply blocked anymore, which is probably more a factor of the units you've lost than anything good.
Looks like that planetary in the bottom left will go down, though. That's a big deal, because that means that's another base for tier.
Yeah.
I mean, Ketroc's not going to be doing much for a few minutes as it needs to rebuild literally everything.
Yeah. So there is one starport up. It does not have a technical fab though, so
Yeah, Ketroc's probably trying to rebuild the Viking count, so there's no
yeah.
need for the tech lab yet. But I don't even see where the starport is. Oh, behind the natural, okay. Yeah, I just don't...
Yeah,
There's no break being given by Tier. Tier's coming in for another push, and that's just going to be the end of the main
I
base
think,
again.
yeah, I think we can fast forward this now. GG.
Yep.
Here we'll take a 2-1 lead. So we are in for quite a series here.
Yeah, I'm actually looking into my source code right now to see what my bot does versus brand new opponents. Like, will it be possible to keep trying this Banshee build or not?
But yeah. So yeah, finally, again playing that little game of whack-a-mole of they keep trying to rebuild. And GG, Tia does take the 2-1 lead.
GG.
Alright, let's have a look at game 4. Yeah, so strong though. Once you get up to that many Thors, it's very difficult for almost any composition to take out, I think. Alright. I can tell you, you are going to use a different tactic this time. So
Yeah, I think I might be set to 2. I think once it goes 0 and 2
yeah,
with the strategy, it might stop versus that bot.
cool.
I'm in the game now, so I'm all set when you are.
Alright, give me 1 second. Oh, get out the bloody way, you stupid thing. Sorry. Alright, going in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, up in the top right hand corner of Hardwire, it is Tia.
And spawning in the bottom left, we have the Red Terran. It is Ketroc. And what did he say? He said, okay, going back to the Banshee Cyclone build.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that might be a bit better.
Hmm.
Yeah, going going over 6,000 APM in a stage of the game where I go 1. If you're wondering
Okay,
what,
my bot will
yeah,
try every strategy twice before it starts choosing games. So if this
yeah,
goes to game 5, it's going to pick a brand new strategy.
well that'll be good. At least you've
Yeah.
picked a strategy you've won with before, so yeah.
No, it won't do that.
Ah,
Right? So even though it goes
oh
2 and
no,
0 with
I meant for this game. At least you've picked a strategy you've won with before.
yeah, yeah.
So
So if things go as I suspect and this goes well for Ketroc, game 5 is going to be a complete surprise. Could just be an
yeah.
SCV rush. Who the heck knows what it'll be? It's going to be like randomly one of the builds in my bot that's
Do
in my
you still
bot.
have your SCV rush in there?
Oh
That's
yeah, it's great. It's
oh
like it
okay.
hides in a
Yeah.
little pocket as the mineral pocket, and then like
Okay.
snaps down the workers one at a time.
That would be cool.
It worked really well when I first put it on ladder. Of course,
Yeah.
people built defenses to it and then stopped working, which
Yeah.
is why we never see it anymore versus top bots. But
It still
it'll still
works.
probably annoy brand new authors.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a lot of talk recently on how you get into Division 1 and make it through all the cheese. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. And then we've had a couple of bot authors make it to Division 1 and find out it isn't as easy as they planned. Um, just through the chat
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
Discord, yeah.
Yeah,
So
Renato, just wait until the next series when we see Sharkbot.
yeah.
That's a bot that was originally a machine learning chat bot, and then the author created a StarCraft 2 bot from it. So it's the most chatty bot we have on the in
Yeah,
the
he's fun to be around,
tournament for sure.
Sharkbot. Yeah, Sharkbot is it's no chat GPT, but it definitely is fun.
Oh, it is, yeah. And just like every other bot that learns to chat by like forums on the internet, it got super racist at the start. So the machine learning part, I think, has been more or less turned off.
Yeah, yeah.
But I got some like hard coded things my bot says, and every time he says it, Sharkbot has a new response to it. So
Oh,
whatever is built there, it is it's not definitely not very hard coded
yeah,
at least. There's many responses to many different things.
and when we say racist, we definitely mean that they hate the Zerg. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I love how no RTS game or game in general uses the concept of race anymore, just because you don't want to
yeah.
be misinterpreted and that sort of thing. It's like,
I
God, I
know.
hate that race. It's like, yeah, clip that, put it on social media.
Yeah, that's not getting in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, so all games now have like factions or
Yeah,
civilizations. Like they'll never use the word race again, except for StarCraft.
yeah. Although is Stormgate using that? I don't know.
Nope,
But
nope. Nope,
okay.
they're not taking that risk either.
Ah, damn. That would be fun.
Although we haven't actually seen their second faction, I think they want to call it.
Yeah. We've only seen
Well, Tyr
one
has a
so
mule
far.
that's not doing anything. That's
Oh,
not good.
losing a bit. Yeah.
Like the first mules of the game are like super important to the Terran economy.
Yeah.
Like 200 minerals at the start of the game is huge.
Yeah, but that is not coming Tyr's way, unfortunately.
Nope.
Yeah. There it goes. Yeah. I mean, we'll still call them races, I guess, so it's fine.
Yeah. No, but I think like I think last Probots we had to edit out the N word from Sharkbot because the machine
Oh,
learning chat was
really?
put back into it. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I've not seen that out of Sharkbot, although actually I don't pre-screen these replays, so if it does come up in our next series, guys, I am very sorry, okay?
No, I think that was something especially turned on for Probots. The
Oh,
machine
okay.
learning part of the chat, not the racist part of the chat.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, it's like,
You didn't specially turn on racism, just like a toggle you hit.
Oh no.
But I mean, forums these days are pretty
Yeah,
loose. Like even if you learn to like chat from Reddit, like there's, I'm wondering how that even happens now.
yeah. I
But
mean,
definitely that Microsoft one, wasn't it like within 24 hours it became like
oh yeah.
the worst thing you could possibly imagine? Just like an angry racist, like swearing bot.
I mean,
They had to
let's
take it offline immediately.
let's face it. After your first 24 hours online, anyone had become that. A
Yeah,
racist,
we trained
angry,
it on
swearing kid.
4chan or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Where are these things being trained?
yeah. You put it on the internet, guys, and you're shocked when it comes out as a racist, angry teenager. I mean, what the hell? Um, anyway, go back to this game, I guess. Ketroc scaling up nicely.
Yeah, so their composition in game one, so he's got like
Yeah,
one or two tanks, and then the factory is building cyclones.
yeah,
But it's just the one factory going nonstop, while the rest of the money is being poured into the starport production.
yeah. So going
First
across.
Banshee survive with 0 kills, so that's kind of like a neutral Banshee, I
Yeah.
guess. Probably forced out a couple scans, I guess.
So these cyclones getting taken out early. That's not good.
Yep, second Banshee going into the main base, kind of getting cornered. It did get an SCV, but likely going to end up dying here.
Yeah.
3 kills,
3
actually.
kills, yeah.
3
So that's
SCVs.
not too bad.
Yeah, it's not good, but it's not bad either.
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably about break even at this point in the game. At this point in the game, SCVs have a lot more value than just 50 minerals.
Yeah.
Later in the game,
Sure.
that's all they're worth because you can build SCVs as, like 10 at a time once you have a bunch of command centers. But
Yeah.
early game, that's like if you lose an SCV, you're basically losing economy.
Yeah, I think what you would also say is given like Tyr's defense against Banshees in this game and how they normally do, that's kind of like batting above average at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, all day might be because the Banshee Harass comes later with this build. It might be doing better. I don't know
Yeah.
why that's the case, but maybe the Cyclones are distracting a little bit or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, Cyclones definitely caused the distraction at the front. Tyr again.
Meanwhile, another Banshee in the main base is
Yeah.
getting some work done before the Viking
Nice
and
course cancellation
Raven
and a
arrive.
couple of workers. At this point,
Might get it alive.
yeah, I think so. Maybe?
Nope.
No.
Last volley got it, yeah.
4 kills.
Though with 4 kills, the Banshee Harass will continue. Again, this is like a results-oriented
Yeah.
attack. So, once these Banshees start dying and getting no kills, though. I'm not sure what the threshold is. I think they need to get at least 2 kills
Yeah.
to be considered good. 2 bad ones in a row, and they'll quit it for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I think I turn it back on if I research Banshee speed, but I'm not sure if I do research Banshee speed.
So Vikings coming in here. Looks like we're going to get taken out by these Thors.
Yeah, all the Marines go down, but they trade them up for 2 tanks, which is a pretty good trade. Medevac's doing its little pickup micro versus the Cyclone lock-ons yet again.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Tyr already with a monster economy now. 90 workers, what, 7 bases? It's you pretty much got as much income as you'll ever need.
Yeah, and one thing I like this game is we do have like Hellions threatening on both sides, ready to like jump in and do some worker harass if the defense ever walks away.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened in game one. Is this there's too many places that Tyr needed to be, and then there's like gaps where a whole bunch of workers would end up dying.
Yeah, it's the one.
Trying to defend again.
It's the one weakness of this tactic, I think, is like those Thors need to be fighting all together. If they're not fighting all together, then they're not as effective. But if they are fighting all together, then you leave big holes for harass in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, they are definitely slow. That's not
Yeah.
a mobile unit.
Yeah, they're kind of the
Yeah,
ultra
eventually the main base got
tactically.
a couple of kills and we'll get out alive, I believe. Yep, we'll get out
Yeah,
alive.
yeah, it'll be fine.
We'll make it back home to repair.
And yeah,
This missile turret in front of the 12 o'clock base is going down for like the 12th time.
yeah,
Although I think the Cyclone might end up getting stuck here.
yeah, I think so. I don't think there's any way of that cyclone getting out, is there?
It could have gone to the left, but too aggressive.
Yeah, so at the moment I think it's looking good for us to get a game 5 out of this. Ketroc just has way too many bases and quite a decent army.
Yeah, and this time with like siege tanks and cyclones being built, and not so many banshees, there's actually some weapons against the Thors as well.
Yeah,
I mean, the medevac pickup on the Thors is really nice versus the lock-ons, but it's not always available.
yeah,
Especially as I think all the medevacs are following one Thor. So that one
yeah.
Thor can easily be picked up, the rest maybe not so much.
I think it's actually saving the cyclones as well, because the cyclones are getting the lock on, but the medevac pullout is before the cyclones can be hit. We do see the Thors coming into the main base now, so this could be a problem. There's also like some Banshee harass going on at the 11 o'clock base for Tyr, but the main battle is going to be, can these Thors break the main base? It's going to be difficult here.
Well, they'll get to the planetary, that's for sure. The Thors are getting weak. We'll see how these pickups. These pickups are really strong, actually.
Yeah.
Most of these lock-ons are doing 0 damage. Every once in a while, like one missile lands.
Yeah. So yeah, there's no real vision down at this at the bottom of the ramp either. Now
And a
for
whole Thors are pouring in now.
yeah. Oh, this is not good. Another 4 floors coming in. It's probably going to catch those Banshees if they can get vision on them. This is not good for Ketroc here. So many Thors. All coming in. And they're focusing down the tech labs as well, which is causing like Ketroc to lose a lot of money by trying to rebuild them and immediately cancelling them.
Build cancel, build cancel, build cancel.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to be frame perfect with the bot.
Yeah.
It forces you to cancel non-stop.
Yeah. So the main base command center will go down. And Ketroc again leaving, but he shouldn't. He should make sure all this production stays dead.
Although we all know the Banshees are never going to fight the Thors anyways, so if they do anything during this time, that's a good thing. Better than just like hovering outside of Thor range, because that's not helpful at all.
Yeah, so... And the problem is all the SCVs are going to start piling in trying to rebuild, and again, you're probably going to die.
Yeah, these lock-ons are literally doing 0 damage.
Yeah. And yeah, totally on top of all the production now from Ketroc. There's no more starports, I don't believe, unless oh yeah, there's a couple here at the natural just outside. Barracks going up as well. So the Banshees are finally getting some hits onto these Thors as well. One goes down.
Yeah, there's actually
There's no detection. These Thors are getting massacred. Oh wait, no they're not. No,
scan was really strong.
Yeah.
But if you can jump them again after the scan's gone.
Yeah.
Not sure where the Ravens are right now.
Yeah, there doesn't seen many ravens at all from Ketroc Frontier. So 2 ravens, they're both there.
One Thor going down to a planetary.
Yep,
Maybe a second will happen. Ketroc is rebuilding once again. But does he have an army? He does not.
no, there's not
79
really
supply blocked.
Yeah.
And all of his production's down. He's got 1 starport.
2. I thought I saw 2. No, just 1. And now it's just that game of whack-a-mole with these planetary fortresses. All right, Hero Banshee maybe. Oh, the scan missed.
Protection at the moment.
Yeah, the scan missed.
There is ravens in the front though, so you can only really pick away at the back of this army.
Yeah.
Ketroc just getting on supply blocked. He's actually building his barracks. That's how detect he is. I think it was detect all the way to supply depot. He had to build a supply depot before building the barracks. That was a deadly push on the main base, and the only starport going down right now as well.
Starport is not going to be long for this world. Alright,
Banshee harass still working well for some reason.
Yeah.
Up to 14 kills on that harass.
Yeah, so I'm almost ready to call it here. I think
so.
Unless you have any objections. GG,
no.
Well played, 2 tier. That is a brilliant tactic, bringing those Thors out, and yeah, just at the right moment. And it's something that we haven't seen on ladder a lot either. Again, something that Tier was saving for the tournament. So yeah, and knocking down the defending champion. So sorry, Ketroc, your reign is over. But there will be more tournaments, so... but GG.
GG.
Yeah. But yeah, so well done to Tier, and commiserations, Ketroc. Can't win them all, eh?
That's okay. I was scared of my next 3 series, so any one of them, I think I could have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. No, definitely a fun game. And Tier, I think actually, like, moving on, is going to have a really good chance against other bots as well. So, yeah, well done to Tier, and very good luck in the next round. Next up, let's have a look at our next series. First up, we have Kaninana by Ratosh.
Sorry, I just want to put it out there. We have 240 viewers right now.
Oh,
which
nice.
is about 10 times our normal viewer count, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Not sure if we got a raid or something, but that's
good.
That's cool.
That's brilliant. Yeah, no, welcome to
everyone.
If you're new here, we've got some awesome bots. Yeah, Kaninana qualified sort of like 8th on the ladder. Done really well. Brought out some really nice tournament builds as well. So even gave you a little run for your money in the second round there before you came back for the win.
Yeah, he's the bot I've been most impressed with in terms of surprise factor, we'll say. He's been doing his spots looking really strong. His decision making on how and when to engage Sharkbot was so good.
Yeah.
Or no, Xena is who he played. And then the Protoss. And the way he just murdered battle cruisers versus Menbot BC was a thing of beauty.
It was.
He's using Yamato, teleporting them into spore farms. It was so good.
That was brilliant. Yeah, absolutely.
Love that neural defense.
However, he will be facing the currently undefeated bot in this tournament. Well, undefeated in terms of games anyway. Matches. Did take that one loss to you at a very, very, I mean, probably the most epic 3-game series I've seen on this tournament in the first round when he beat you 2-1. Um,
Yeah, that was a good series. We had like a draw, and then he went down 1-0, and then he took the last two games.
yeah,
It was a good one.
that's crazy. Um, but yeah, so currently undefeated. Doing really well on the ladder at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it should be a really interesting game. And like I know Caninana is always strong against Protoss bots, so yeah, should be fun.
Yeah, Alpha Star is not alive. It is owned by DeepMind, and they have it sealed away in their vault somewhere.
I think they
These are
did,
all bots built by like hobbyist authors,
yeah.
and
I think
no
they,
limitations on them. They can have 50,000 APM if they want, no problem.
yeah, they did open source part of it. The problem
They did,
is
yeah.
that the part of it they open sourced was the part of it that requires almost no computation. The part of it that's really clever bit is basically throwing about several million quid's worth of computing power at the bot to train it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, they could open source the whole thing. You still got to spend the, we'll say at least hundreds of thousands of dollars to train it.
yeah, probably a lot more than that.
The trained agents would be something that'd be really cool if we could get our hands on,
Yeah.
but I don't think that'll ever happen.
Anyway, let's get on with our current game. I am good to go when you are.
I forgot to load the replay.
Ah,
So
okay.
kill more time.
All right. But yes, so saying that, if anyone does have a couple of $100 to spare, Alpha Star Source is actually available on their GitHub, or at least most of it, I think. I haven't actually checked it out myself, but if anyone does that and wants to come back with a lot of computing resources, then you'll be most welcome. It'll be fun.
Yeah. There was that Die Star bot too. It only played
Yeah,
ZVZ on one map, but
yeah,
that guy had enough GPUs he could use from his company that he was able to train it to be,
yeah,
competitive at the pro scene level.
yeah. That was
Okay,
good.
I'm good to go now.
All right. I am going in three, two, one, go. Okay, up in the top left on Berlingrad, it is our Zerg qualifier. It is Kaninana.
And spotting in the bottom right, we have the red Protoss. It is Sharkbot. So
Yep,
Sharkbot can do everything. He can be super tricky and all in, or play the macro game.
yep,
Kenny Nana's too much of a good guy. He's like, yeah, I'm playing solid macro, and if you want to try to
yeah.
cheese me, I'll just try to survive.
Yeah, you're not really going to see a 12 pull out of Kaninana here. He's kind of
No.
like going to kind of throw kind of like Zerg's roaches at you, and obviously in the late game can use lots of casters, as we saw in the game against Benbot. Um, Coming out for the early
Yeah.
expand. Right.
Yep, hatch first out of Kenny Nana.
Yeah.
And actual double gas out of Sharkbot. That's interesting. So
Yeah.
there could be something cheesy in the future. It's not his patented worker rush / cannon rush at the same time, but whenever I
Oh,
see double gas, I always think it's going to be some sort of one-base shenanigans. We'll have to see.
yeah.
Second gateway too,
So,
interestingly.
yeah, this is definitely going to be a very active early game here from Sharkbot, I think.
Yeah, heading on a Diggo pool before gas though, so
Yeah.
it's not like the greediest of greedy openers. So that's good news for him, I think.
Yeah.
Cybercar goes down.
Yeah, we're in for some cheese, I think. Well, not some cheese, but some early game pressure at least.
Yeah, probe actually going across the map. Is this going to be a scout, or are we going to be seeing a proxy pylon? Like this could just be as simple as a 4 gate.
Yeah, I
Two
think this.
gateways to spend all your money as you're waiting for warp gates, and then there's the third gateway, and maybe a fourth one goes proxied for the fast warp ins.
Yeah, he's definitely building something here, I think.
Yeah,
Probably
this
just a
the
pylon.
timing of this probe makes me think it's going to be a 4 gate.
Yeah.
That probe has just enough time to build a pylon and a gateway before warp gate finishes.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so we're going to find out what Kainon's defense is like.
Pylon goes up. There's a couple of Zerglings out already.
Yeah, he's built 4, I believe.
Yeah. A couple of queens on the way as well, so
Yeah,
should be good.
nothing spotting that proxy location, however. He will see that there's a lack of a natural. Hopefully that sparks something in his code to, play it
Yeah.
defensively. Stop making drones.
Yeah, third base coming up though for Caninana, which is not a good sign.
Okay, so he sees 3 gateways. He sees the lack of an expansion.
And yeah,
Building a
nice.
spine crawler. Okay, okay, he's got some sort of. That's probably going to
Yeah,
be in counter to this. Even the spine crawler in the main base is interesting. Roach Warren is about 2/3 of the way done, but the attack is coming.
yep.
Just the depths for now, but it's still something he can't really handle much. Well, he's got the spine. I take it back. He
Yeah,
should
I
be
think
fine.
he's fine against the depths. He's got some Zerglings, some Spine Crawlers again. We're gonna be okay. We've got a few Stalkers moving out though. It's probably better off for Sharkbot. Obviously, once
Ooh, speed is actually just started on the Zerglings too. I know he's fine to go roaches, but still, with this many Zerglings, it'd be nice to have speed on those.
yeah,
He's preserving the Ling count, I like that. Waiting until he has what he considers enough defense, maybe fighting with the Spine Crawler.
yeah, it's just backing off. But I don't like these Zerglings enraging off of creep there in front of the Spine Crawler.
Yeah.
So
Now I'd love him to attack, but he's like, nope.
yeah,
Okay, well,
oh,
this is gonna
that's
be
not good.
difficult. Now he
Yeah,
can lose his. Well, he can't lose both these hatcheries. He can
yeah,
lose one of them and still be okay.
yeah. He's gonna come
Let's
down and try
preserve
and
the drones by burrowing them.
yeah.
Roaches are out now.
Yeah, I think he's going to come down and try and get the roaches, but he sees the hallucinated
Colossus and
Colossus.
disengages, I know.
Yeah, oh
And he's
no.
afraid of the Colossus. He's attacking the Colossus. He has no idea
Yeah,
it's a hallucination. That's funny.
yeah, so the other Spine Crawler is probably going to go down here. Unless he can break out of this, there's no hope.
So that beautiful decision making of when to engage and when not to actually hurts
Yeah,
him this game, as he's now disengaging because he's like, I can't beat Colossus.
so there's a lot of borrowed stuff here, no detection for Protoss, but it's not really going to help him a lot, I don't think.
Nah, there's just too many stalkers.
Yeah,
As these roaches pop up at full health, they'll just instantly have to burrow again.
yeah. So
Natural base hatchery does go down.
yeah. Main hatchery is on the way too. There's no spawning pool. There's no... Roach Warren is down. He's got no production.
Fight
I'm
with the
calling
broodlings?
it.
No.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any Zergbot that considers broodlings as part of their actual army supply.
Yeah. Alright,
Because you should calculate that into whether to take a fight or not, whether
yeah.
there's broodlings or
Oh,
not.
definitely. Right, I'm gonna call this now, guys. He only has one
Yeah.
thing left anyway. GG. Sharkbot
GG.
with a very, very quick win.
Yeah.
Right.
Sentry with the the clutch part of that victory. I don't think Kanina was going to go hold, but
Yeah.
certainly when he runs away when he sees the Colossus and lets his 2 spine crawlers die because of it, that's not the best
Yeah.
choice.
I I think that yeah, the Colossus hallucination really did well there for Sharkbot. Um, but I am good on game 2 when you are.
Yeah, all set.
Alright, going in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, up in the top right hand corner on Inside and Out, it is Sharkbot.
And in the bottom left, down 1-0, it is the Blue Zerg Kaninana. So this is a best of 5. He's got a few more couple more opportunities here.
Yeah,
Let's see if anything will change in game 2.
I really
I
hope he
feel like
has some.
Kaninana displays a stable build, and Sharkbot will likely
Yeah,
stick with what works.
yeah.
Second probe being sent out. What's that for? I don't know.
Is this
Is that
going
a
to be a
bug?
cannon rush? No, probably not, actually. No, it's building a gateway. Okay. Yeah, not the infamous Sharkbot cannon rush into probe rush into just everything rush. Oh,
I can't believe I
cut.
had to worry about a conflict in my worker rush defense and cannon rush defense.
Yeah.
It's like, who would send a bunch of probes and cannon rush at the same time?
Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently that's a thing, and it bugged out my bot.
So apparently Shark Week, we've just been informed, is the 23rd to the 30th of July. That does include our
Oh, wow.
finals.
There you go.
Thanks for doing that, chat. Yes, that the finals will be on Shark Week. So I'm not going to call it just yet because there's a long, long way to go. We are only in the quarterfinals, um, but it is looking good for Sharkbot, at least to get to the semis. And of course, if you are reaching the semi-finals, that does mean that you will play in Shark Week because we will have a third and fourth place playoff. But again, still 2 more victories here for Sharkbot away from that.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Kenny Nana, this is looking
Mm,
identical to game one. Both bots using the
yeah,
exact same builds. So the question is, will it get scouted? Will he fight with the spines? Like something different's going to have to happen.
yeah,
Those burrow roaches can get out of control once you make enough of them, as bots can like have perfect burrow micro and keep the roaches alive. But
yeah. It's
yeah, he just got overwhelmed. There's just too much army. He wasn't ready for it
I think
last game.
if you're right, if he does get the Zerglings to fight with the spine crawler, then there is a good chance he can take out a vast majority of that army, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, and actually building the spines earlier this game, which I guess technically is not a good thing, but that means he is concerned about the 4 gate earlier this game as well.
Yeah,
So hopefully that means he'll lay off the drone key for a little while, not take the third base. These are all things that could help him survive this attack.
yep. All right, so fourth gateway is on the way.
Yeah, stack defense is actually really expensive early game for Zerg because you
Yeah.
lose out on those important early game workers when you build a structure. Losing the Overlord. Wow, is that Stalker like moonwalking? Awesome.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
basically tracking the Overlord, I think. So it was kind of like, you know, going to like all the way along there very, very slowly. Um,
Yeah, we are casting from replay. These bots can only play offline, so
yeah,
they're not allowed on BattleNet for obvious reasons.
yeah.
Because, we don't want these things to, like, win 100% of the game time versus Sarah. We'll give Sarah some time off.
Yeah, I mean, we'll let him play.
They're dumb bots. I still say it is impressive that -0 beat Hearthstone's Protoss.
Oh God, yeah, no, that was brilliant. So there isn't a third base yet from Caninana, which we had last time, which I think's a good thing. So he's got a couple of queens
Yeah,
there. He's
exactly.
got some Zerglings coming down now to fight. So
And
Zerglings aren't
29
going to be
lings,
engaged. Yeah,
that's enough.
that's impressive. I think he's going to be able to hold it.
Well, see how these
So
attacks go. He's kind
yeah,
of running around a lot. Nice kiting
yeah,
back by these stalkers, making the
yeah.
Zerglings not looking very strong. Because there is no... Okay, now there's speed on the
Oh
Zerglings.
yeah.
Just after he lost 29 lings, speed finishes. That's unfortunate.
And now
Now he
he's
needs
not
to fight with the
fighting.
spine.
Yeah,
Okay, he is kind of fighting with the spine. He's being distracted by a hallucinated stalker running into his main base up the cliff.
yeah,
Yeah, he's just overwhelmed, I think, at this point.
yeah. He's coming down now with the Zerglings. I wonder
Yeah,
what
with
the
speed on these
trigger
lings, they're
is.
going to be much
Yeah,
more powerful versus the stalkers, but will it be enough?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think.
It was an evenish fight, I would say.
Yeah, but there's so many stalkers left over.
Yeah. Will he preserve the queens? Yeah,
More
looks like he's
coming.
running them back into the main. I do like that. Because
Yeah.
technically he could lose his natural and maybe still win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a one-base Protoss, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Obviously, one base Protoss is way stronger than one base Zerg,
sure.
but
Yeah,
doesn't mean it's over.
yeah.
Spire going up, that's an interesting choice in the midst of all this.
That's not going to do you much good.
Yeah. If he
Yeah,
cancels the Spire, that'll be actually good for
yeah,
Kenny Alright, Spine Collar does go down. I think that with that is going to be the end of this.
yeah.
No
Alright.
Roach Horn in this game, yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling it there, guys. GG 2-0 to Sharkbot. Yes, Dyson turns confirming that the casters are in fact real. At least I think I am. Even if the bots are AI, we are real. I swear to you.
Yep. So there's another Twitch channel called AI arena stream where it's
Yeah,
it's bot games running 24/7 and they're observed by another bot. So there's the bot doing the observing.
yeah. I don't think we have
There's even
commentators on
a
that.
secret project of an
There is.
AI taste hostos. So it's an AI voice of
Artist.
Tasteless and Artosis using ChatGPT to um, generate the dialogue.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure if
there's
that'll ever go public
no,
because
I'm not
obviously,
sure.
first of all, it has to be get good, and secondly, we can't use people's voices without their consent.
Yeah. All right, I'm good to go with
But
game 3 when you are.
that would be really cool if we had two bots playing each other
Oh yeah.
with a bot observer, two bot voices with their casting generated by another bot. That'd be like the ultimate perfecta. Okay,
That'd
I'm
be
all
good.
set to go.
All right, I'm going in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, down in the bottom left, up 2-0, looking to book his place into the semi-finals, and therefore putting himself in Shark Week. It is Sharkbot.
And in the top left, trying to stay alive, it's the blue Zerg Canyonana. So there are some bots on our ladder that are built using machine learning, but they're not very competitive.
Yeah,
If you don't have the millions of dollars to spend on training like AlphaStar did, they don't get too high. So all these bots we're seeing in tournaments are scripted bots.
yeah. It's very difficult unless you've got like a huge resource of computing power to get an AI bot to be anywhere near competitive on that ladder.
Yeah.
Like,
We've had competitive bots that do like small tasks using machine
yeah,
learning. Like
like
I remember Mad AI used to probe scout the enemy, and then based on what he scouted, he would use machine learning to decide what strategy to use.
yeah.
But like all the details of the bot was still
We even had a bot
generically coded.
at one point that would basically use AI to determine position based on the opponent's kind of like composition, exactly which unit to build next. So it would kind of like use that inside the game a bit more. But yeah, it's I don't think it was very competitive for a long time. And
Yeah,
I,
there's that Terran bot. Like all of its macro was machine learning done.
yeah,
So every structure it built was based off machine learning. Every unit it built was based off machine learning, and then the micro was scripted.
yeah,
So that was funny. I remember for a long time it couldn't tech past barracks.
yeah.
It never learned how to build a factory,
Oh,
but eventually got fairly good.
yeah. Yeah, but a lot of that is more the kind of like very supervised, kind of like limited decision path, kind of like AI, rather than scripting an entire game, which is, for us at our level, almost impossible.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I will say about Canyon in the last game is it did deviate from game one. It wasn't
Yeah,
a good deviation. It went Spire instead of Roachwarn, which is terrible when you're facing Mass
at
Stalker. But
least it was something.
at least
Yeah,
it's adjusted, right? So maybe we'll see an adjustment back to what it did in game one, which
yeah.
I think could work. Or we'll see an adjustment to something maybe completely new.
So, wait, where is the probe? Oh yeah, the probe is still there, definitely. I
Yeah,
was
and
looking at
this Overlord has spotted all three gateways, so I think at this point it's gonna be fearful. Yeah, it's doing that in base
it knows.
fine again, which is
Yeah,
yeah. It's probably more of a generic code, like when your army is not big enough, just build spines at every base or something.
yeah.
But I would love to see two spines at the natural instead of a spine in the main and a spine in the natural, obviously.
I'd even love to
But
see a few
it's
more
better than
spines.
nothing, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, definitely. A few more spines there at all would be good. Uh,
Yeah, you don't even really need the spines at all. Like they're kind of mediocre for Zerg.
yeah,
What you do want to see is this all units on the production tab, no drones at all. Yeah, but the late speed again is gonna be a big problem for Canyonana.
yeah, it's still a long way off.
Because imagine when those 30 lings hit in game two, if they hit with speed. Because
Yeah,
they just got kited to death by these stalkers. Like if half those stalkers died to the lings, which I think they definitely could have against speedlings, might have been a
yeah,
whole different story.
yeah, you wouldn't have been able to kite them anywhere near as good.
Yeah, so here we go in slow lings versus stalkers, and the stalkers are not getting trapped in a corner, so yeah, they're doing quite
Yeah,
well. Things are getting split in all directions. This means of just kind of killing shields but not actually killing any units.
Yeah. So there's a couple of
One
stalkers
depth went
down.
down.
Yeah.
One queen. Note this. Yeah, it doesn't get that stalker. No, this might be the worst game yet for Kenny now.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This is not going well for Canada, unfortunately.
Yeah, 16 lings on the production tab, but they're coming out like a couple at a time.
Yeah. Speed is almost done. But very,
yeah,
very
I don't think we
late.
could have drawn up a worse defense
Yeah.
there. He literally took all the shields off of every unit and killed none of them.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing you could possibly do.
Alright. Shields.
And
Speed
then
is
when you lose
finally
all the
done.
lings,
Yeah.
then speed finishes.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, there's that pocket. Okay, speed's done.
It's a bit
We're
late.
gonna wrap around, get through.
Yeah, you're gonna get a couple there. I think that's probably too late though. I don't know actually, he's going pretty well.
Yeah, he's gotten 5, 6, 7,
Oh,
8.
wow.
He just got 8 stalkers and a sentry.
Oh, that's good. This is
Yeah, the stalkers are in a nice little corner here, which is nice of them, but he might end up losing 2 more stalkers? No, just the one.
Yeah.
Nope, 2. I take it back. Nope, 1. I can't decide. Nope, that stalker survived with 40 points.
Oh, just about, yeah. But now there's 8 more in production coming along, but
yeah, he did stop to build some tech structures, so there wasn't a huge flood of lings afterwards. I mean, there's 10 coming now. Ooh, I don't know.
Station pit though, like Roach Warren on the way. Why would build an infestation pit behind before the Roach Warren? I don't know. I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Especially as speedlings are probably the best hard counter to stalkers that exist at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Roaches are not good versus stalkers. Mutas definitely aren't. You don't even need a tech structure. You just need to hold down the Z key.
Yeah, Roach is in enough numbers. Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, like anything in enough numbers, right?
Yeah,
but
sure.
A good portion of stalker damage is versus armored, so
yeah.
Why build armored units when you don't have to? Yeah, I think that's going to be it. Quick 3-0 for
yeah.
Sharkbot.
Let's call it there. Well done to Sharkbot.
Yeah, the lair, the infestation pit, the Roachborn, just not the best decisions, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm sure we will see Kananana again. It's done very impressive work this game, at this tournament.
Yeah, and we didn't even get to see what Kananana excels at. Obviously, once the game goes on to the mid-game, that's where he starts to peak.
Definitely.
Early game defense is maybe one of the toughest thing for a Zergbot author.
Yeah.
It's not like just throw down a bunker or a couple shield batteries and you're safe. You really have to scout and change your production to match your opponents, which is difficult for bots. Anything decision based is difficult for bots.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, Sharkbot again. Didn't really need to show us what it was good at either. It's kind of like, right, okay, I'm gonna throw down a four gate and take the win. You didn't really get to see kind of like the decision making from Sharkbot either, which is actually pretty damn good. Yeah. All right.
And you did see that correctly. That was 50,000 APM, most likely.
Yes.
Every unit can get 22 actions a second, whatever that works out to. So you can get to a 6-figure APM.
Yeah,
it might bug out the game. Like once you get like really high, like 80,000, there's a chance to completely bug out the game, but it's possible.
Yeah, you don't really want to go much past kind of like about 60, 70,000 to, in case you end up going to lose actions and your units are going to bug out. But it can be done.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and for bots, it's almost the opposite. Like the lower APM is more impressive than the high APM.
Definitely.
It's like, can you control all your units without spamming commands every single frame? Like, can you remove all the duplicate commands? That's a difficult part.
Also, it saves a lot of processing power on our servers as well if bots can maintain a lower APM.
Yeah, you used to see these replays too. Like a replay is what normally like 3K, 4K file size. We get replays of like 3 megs sometimes because every single one of these actions has to be logged in the replay.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the one you had against Sharkbot was about 10.9.
Game 1 against Sharkbot?
Game 1 against Sharkbot was nearly 11 meg.
11 megs. Yeah, that was a 1-hour game between two bots.
Oh, God. All right, let's have a look at our bracket and the lineup for the semi-finals. One moment, we won't do that.
Yeah, so we still have the top three bots in the tournament, so then we got the ultimate wild card in tier.
Yeah,
So
yeah, tier is
I'm
gonna
hoping tier has an anti-Eris build. If he's gonna knock me out of the tournament, he's got to at least have some tricks up his sleeve for Sharkbot and
yeah,
Eris.
it's gonna be a fun
He
one.
better not have been like, I'm just gonna kill Ketroc and then then whatever happens happens. I always cheer for whoever kills me to
Yeah,
go all the way.
I mean it proves you are the number two bot, really, right? Anyway,
Yeah, you can convince yourself that way, definitely.
yeah. All right, let's have a look at our semi-final lineup. It's going to be Eris versus Micro Machine, and next it's going to be Tier against Sharkbot. And
Oh, and a
yeah,
little shout out to -0 there in the Eris's game score for the semifinals. Zero
sorry,
negative.
yes, I don't know what -0. Sorry.
He was
Oh gosh.
the ultimate opponent for Eris, so
Yeah.
it's only fitting his name gets put next to it.
Oh well.
But
Okay.
yeah, this is gonna be good. These will
Yeah.
all be best of five, right, including the finals and third
All
place
best
match.
of five. Yeah. Everything best of five
So,
now, all the way through. So
so
it's
next
going to be
week's gonna
fun.
be semifinals, and then following week will be third place and finals. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. So two
We
more
were
weeks.
originally planning to do 2 weeks of two a week, but that hasn't because I've just been really busy. That hasn't got in the way. So we're going to do it a slightly more elongated schedule, which is going to slightly overlap with ProBots, but we should be okay. Um,
Yeah.
and
So there will be some overlap with another bot tournament for the first time.
yeah, big
So
shout out.
ProBots will be going live in what 2 weeks? Is it 1 week?
Yeah, I think so. In 2 weeks on the Thursday. So big shout out to those guys, the ProBots team, with
Yep.
Draken and all those guys doing another fantastic tournament that you should definitely check out, which
Yeah,
is the
that's the
ES
ES
Champ.
Champ channel on YouTube. They stream it on YouTube now.
Yeah, so that's good. All
Yeah.
right. So other than that, it's been a fantastic night of games. Thank you once again for joining us, Ketroc. Shame you couldn't get through, but your championship reign sadly has come to an end. But Tia has done fantastic work there. And big shout out again to Caninana, another fantastic bot, well made. I'm sure Caninana will be back. But Sharkbot moving on to face Tia in the semi-finals. So
All right.
yeah, so thank you very much for joining me, Ketroc. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back same time next week, and we'll catch you later.